What's going on today? We're going to be talking about how to compete. Okay. I am compelled to go live once again. This is just kind of impromptu. This is not planned. Most of my live streams are not planned. Um, One of the weird things about live streams, just to talk about it, when I pre-plan live streams, I find that like people will they will like jack my actual topic. Like that's what people do on YouTube, in case you didn't know. I know people that are not like content creators, they don't really know what that consists of. It's like one thing about me is I do come up with very, very great ideas. Uh and people like to steal them. It's like, man, it's like, damn, and it's like, that's one of the reasons, man, I call myself what I call myself, a genius, because people are always trying to steal my ideas, man. They can't come up with their own, um, and they don't have any problems doing it. Like it's very, very obvious. It's like, damn, and it's like, that's what it's like, kind of like this is the YouTube world reminds me, I've said this before, like the flea market. Flea market, one thing, if you ever tried to start off in business, like if you ever, and I'm going to be talking about a lot of different things, including business. This is definitely a money conversation tonight. Is the money is the most important topic you could probably even talk about right now. I don't think anything else other than economics, business, finance, jobs, is more important than now. I mean, I would even say it trumps relationships talks, because what good is a relationship, conversation when you're sleeping in a car, freezing and shit, trying to go in a casino to fucking make bet on black, and hope you can make some money to buy Pampers and shit. Like, there's people is really, really struggling, man. I've said that last year. I've talked about how, it's pretty much people are gonna continue to struggle. Is people struggling now? And I mean, it's you seeing it, unfold before your eyes. I mean, it's like I've given, it's like, what was that prophet in the Bible? I think is was it Noah? Plenty of prophets said, Lot, he gave warnings, multiple warnings. It's like, nobody listens, and then, problems problems arise, and then you realize it's too late. But yeah, we're gonna talk about some economics. We're gonna get into the economics of just basically how things are in America. We're not gonna go outside the weeds too much. I'm gonna try not to. Uh, basically that is one of the most important topics to talk about. It's nothing more important that I can think of, because I was thinking, okay, what should I talk about if I go live? And I always be like, damn, relationships. No, because again, I mean, you can't really, really enjoy a good, healthy relationship when your lights is about to get cut off. You know what I'm saying? You can't. It's. I'm not saying you can't, because bums are on the street with relationships. That one of the things that's tripped out about the whole idea of a relationship or women or whatever. The funny thing is, you could walk on the street and a bum or crackhead has a girlfriend, and you don't necessarily have one. but a crackhead on the street, because it's not the fact that he's on the street, it's the fact that that he has low standards. I mean, you're not going to have a relationship, most likely, at least I wouldn't think so, with a crackhead. Okay, so the fact that they both, have lowered expectations. They are match made in, for each other. So that's how that works. But nevertheless, you don't necessarily want that type of relationship. You want, a relationship where you can actually live comfortable, live well, and not have to worry about the freaking cold weather taking you under. I mean, because like in the Midwest, one of the things about the Midwest is that it is very, very cold when it gets that way. It literally blankets the whole country, like from the Arctic, North Arctic, all the way down to, you know, it gets so cold, the whole country gets cold. Even down in Texas and Arizona, it's like, freaking freezing, and it's like, damn, ice and Texas and all of that type of stuff. And you like, damn, I mean, it gets cold like that. So people in the Midwest, me, I pretty much grew up here, so I know how to survive it. I hate it. Every year I hate it with a passion. Uh, it's like I always be like, damn, I understand why people move out of the region and go to warmer climates like, LA and Texas and Nevada and all these other hot places, right? But it's things to concern yourself there too. You got earthquakes and a lot of homeless people because they moved there. And, you know, that's a thing. High housing costs because it's a desired place for people to live. And yeah, all of that stuff that goes with it. But this conversation is about how to compete. Who do I mean how to compete? Basically, the wealthy elites. Okay, the wealthy elites are pretty much at the top. Okay, they're at the top of the heap. You're just basically, they would call you in economics, a proletarian, a worker. Okay, an average citizen that works, or even just, basically just exists in society. You make up the populace that is proletarian, right? I mean, you have basically the business class. They're the ones with the big bucks. They have the power, they have the leverage, and they also have the capital. And they have the businesses to employ uh, people in society, including the proletariat. And the proletariat is always at the behest of the business class, right? The entrepreneurial class, the billionaires, millionaires with businesses, even small business owners. I was a small business owner. I had, basically cash under the table, basically people that helped me out at my store, my computer store. You realize when you are in business how people, how important that you need people to work for you, because trying to do everything by yourself is very, very difficult. You realize why uh people hire people, and all of that type of stuff. But I was talking about the flea market and YouTube, and the comparison of the flea market and YouTube, how people in the flea market is like really cutthroat. And I was in the flea market a long time ago before I had my computer store, my brick and mortar store in Chicago. I had a booth in a flea market in south suburbs of Chicago, which is a flea market called Alsop. It's one of the biggest flea markets actually in the Midwest, in the Chicagoland area for sure. And selling computers there. and doing other stuff. I'm not gonna say what I was selling or whatever. But it was like basically cutthroat. I mean, I remember I had like a DVD. That was back in the DVD days and the CD days where you could burn a bunch of CDs and DVDs and make money. This guy just literally right across from my booth bought a CD from me, or actually it was a DVD. And he literally just started selling them right across from me. Like he had a DVD duplicator and he just started cutting them, right across from me. And it's like, dude was like, okay, I was in my what 20s, where was yeah, about late 20s. That guy had to be in either his 40s at the time or early 50s. He didn't care. He knew, okay, I could just do this and then do. I mean, I could have put up a fit. I could have cussed him out, but I wasn't gonna do that. He probably knew I wasn't gonna do it. And I just learned my lesson. Like, okay, this dude, this is how business works. Actually, people don't really care. They just, it's dog eat dog. Somebody emailed me or no, messaged me something. They mentioned red, a red ocean and a blue ocean. And I heard that term before, but I didn't really know fully what it meant. And I, glanced on think like Chat GPT or DeepSeek or whatever, and they explained it. It's like red ocean is a bloodbath. It's a lot of competitors, a lot of people, you know, competing with each other. Like, for example, like a bunch of restaurants selling chicken, selling fried chicken, right? That's like will be considered a red ocean. You got Popeyes, you got KFC, whatever chicken place, and then you got local chicken places in the Chicagoland area. That would be basically Harold's Chicken, and then Sharks Chicken is basically like a Arab ran franchise. Uh, and then you have like on the west side of Chicago, you have Uncle Remus, and you got a whole bunch of jerk chicken spots. It's a bloodbath. It's a red ocean. Then you got a blue ocean, which is not that many competitors, thus not that much blood, and it is it's more it's less competition. People have a monopoly. They have some type of niche business. I would say a blue ocean would probably be a spa. If you started some type of spa franchise, I mean that might be even red. That might not even be a good example. Uh, Let me see what a blue ocean would be. You sell fireplaces. If you sell fireplaces, you got a franchise to sell like fireplaces, custom fireplaces, wood stoves. That definitely would be a blue ocean because that's not that many people in that type of business. It's very, very niche or niche, as far as not too many people are into that. So that would be more of like a blue ocean type of thing if you took that and scaled that or something like that, which is actually not a bad idea because fireplaces, wood stoves in this type of environment where heating bills are skyrocketing. I mean, I basically am a wood stove owner. I burn wood, I chop wood, I process wood. And it is helpful to save on natural gas costs. It's you can go like fully extreme with it. It's all kinds of ways. Like you could actually have a furnace that's wood, basically a wood furnace, and it has like a blower motor and everything like a furnace, and it's expensive. It's like Last time I checked, it was like 4 grand or something like that. It's probably more now because the more heating costs go up, the more these natural, basically natural fuel, types of appliances and stuff, they go up in price. Wood stoves are expensive. Fireplaces, not so much, but they cost depending on what type of fireplace you got. And of course, to build a fireplace is expensive as hell. Wood stove is costly, but not as much as building a fireplace, especially a brick fireplace. I mean, it's pretty expensive, but the thing is that these things are needed because basically natural gas prices is through the roof, energy bills are through the roof, even solar energy, stuff like that is is definitely something that is a very very good business to get into. So needless to say, yeah, people are cutthroat. People don't care. People steal your content, all that type of stuff. I mean, one of the things I'll say is that it's just you got to understand that it's a competition out here. People don't really care. It's kind of a prey versus predator type of world. Okay. A lot of businesses are they're like a predator. I don't know how many companies. I mean, it's quite a bit of companies where you probably had this experience where you call cancel a credit card, or you go online and cancel a credit card, as far as you got some type of subscription or something, and then the next month you getting billed again. You're like, what the hell? Like, I just called and I canceled, or I submitted the form and I got in and I canceled, and then I'm getting charged again. And then you like, okay, well, I gotta cancel my card. I found out just recently, the banker, or bank representative on the phone, or customer service rep for the bank, at one of my banks, said that he basically they have credit cards now where either Visa or MasterCard or both of them, they give the new credit card to companies so they can charge without your authorization. Like it's not really legal. It's probably gonna be some cat class. It's always some class action lawsuits that comes around because a lot of businesses do illegal shit and they just hope that they don't get caught, and they just gotta, they got lawyers or stuff like that to settle things when they do get caught, and they do, get caught quite often. Okay, they do all kind. I've had Google charge my card. I've had Google AdSense the years prior, and yeah, they charged my card after I canceled the actual uh ads, for a period of time. Like I just canceled the fucking ads, and then I got charged again. Yeah, because you got to understand, like, a lot of companies, for whatever reason, they are very predatory. Okay, they don't have the ethics and morals. Even a big multi-billion-dollar business, you would think, have ethics and morals to just be like, hey, yeah, I don't want this anymore. And then you never, you wouldn't think that, a multi-billion dollar, mega billion dollar company would act like a crackhead from Gary, Indiana. But which a crackhead from Gary, Indiana would probably do something like that, where, basically just, take 50 bucks from you, when you basically, wasn't looking, or something like that. That's That's what these companies do, especially these startups. They're strapped for cash. They need money. They're burning through money. They're burning through capital from like angel investors and different investment groups that have, basically gave them some type of startup money. They're, very desperate for cash. They're, all trying to figure out how to make this company basically profitable, sustainable, and that includes your monthly subscription costs. Okay. He said, "Who is this?" What do you mean, who is this? I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, it's obviously who this is. I mean, this is like, yeah, here's the thing. For the people that's been with me for, a long time, I would say a year or more, I have I had some like viral, kind of mini viral, I would say mini viral video. It was like basically some chicks in Compton, California. Some I think they were Mexican, and they were like trying to get their nails done or something. And they had intentions of not paying, and it kind of the video kind of went semi-viral. And then of course I've been doing I've been doing a few things. I ain't gonna spill all of my secrets, but basically I've done the right things, and I've gotten a lot of exposure. Okay. I'll just say that, and then I got a lot of subscribers. I appreciate everybody that subscribed. This primarily is a financial channel for so you don't be broke. Like this, like the whole "It Ain't Easy Being Broke" series. It's just kind of my documentation of different videos of people doing stuff. Okay. And a lot of them people, I would imagine, are definitely broke. But yeah, like, this channel is for you not to be broke, not basking in brokenness and bumhood and just loving it. No, this is not what this channel is about. This channel is about overcoming brokenness. Okay? That's what I did. That's what I talk about. I mean, I talk about other stuff. I'm all over the place, but that's what this is about. That's what my book, The Millionaire Savings Plan, on Amazon, as well as brokegeniuses.com, is about. Trying to not be broke. Okay. That's what this conversation is tonight, about how to not be broke. Okay. Ways to compete. Who are you competing with? You're competing with everybody. That is the answer to that question. You're competing with everyone. But yeah, you're mainly, the biggest competition is the elites. Okay. Primarily, who are the elites in the United States? Primarily Asians, Arabians, Jews, Persians, Turks, which is would be considered others. When you see a demographic, when on the census, they have basically blacks, Asians, Hispanics, and others. Well, the main people that have the wealth in this country is Asians, others, and whites. And whites actually are third in that category. You think white people are the wealthiest? They have most of the wealth, but per capita, they're not wealthy, as far as more wealthy than Asians and primarily Arabians, and Jews is considered others as well. Depending on how they mark the census, because basically European Jews could mark the census white. They can mark white, or they can mark Jewish. So the Jewish category will be others. So it gets a little tricky, but if you look up what others describe, let's do that right now. We could do that just for educational purposes. Let's see what others are in I'll just say census. Okay. Um you also got like mixed is also considered. Let me see here. It's always complicated when you try to look for something on Google. Even Google is like, because you get so used to using Chat GPT and all this other stuff. It's like when you go to Google is like becoming outdated and shit. It's like it's kind of tripped out. Um, let me see if I can word this to where okay, it's maybe ethnicity would help. Let's see here. I mean, I already know what the answer is, but because like a Arabian is not considered an Asian. Okay, he's not considered black. He's not. They're not considered um, white. I mean, even though like some of them mark white on the census as well, so it gets a little tripped out. But primarily, they would like be considered others. Okay, they have a lot of wealth from Arabia. I'm not gonna get into the historic stuff with that, uh, but basically, they would be considered in that category of other. And also a Persian, someone that's Turkish. Pretty much everybody in the Ottoman Empire, if you look up the Ottoman Empire, will be considered a other. Also, Jews from, basically Jews would be considered other. So primarily those are the most wealthiest in America. The Asians, others, and whites. Okay. And they are the bulk owners of business in America. They are the stakeholders as far as the jobs. If you're trying to look for a job, most likely not so much it's an Asian that owns the job. No, most of the corporate interests are controlled primarily by whites in America. Most of the corporate interests, but small businesses, Asians and others have a lot of the smaller businesses as well as probably even medium-sized businesses. And they tend to hire their own group to run businesses. They don't tend to hire other people. They actually send for people to come from their country, like for example Chinese. They'll send people, even it will go into like trafficking, where they'll get people to come over from China to work for their business, and they do all kind of shit, like where they'll come up with some type of an agreement to where they gotta work, they hold their passport and all kind of like, illegal stuff, that they do with that. And then you got the underworld, involved with that, right? So they conduct things a little, they push, they go outside of even the gray area. They go into the black, where they do stuff, a all everyone does underworld, not as far as everyone, but a lot of people do uh mix the underworld with business. But as far as, yeah, like as far as mostly Asians, they hire their own people from their ethnicity to run their businesses. They don't necessarily they tend to not hire other people, right? So, mainly when you look at businesses, they are overrepresented in corporate America, as far as CEOs, as far as workers in corporate America, is primarily Asians and others. Okay, so you have a lot of economic power. Okay, one of the books, it's probably outdated a little bit, The Millionaire Next Door. It goes into who actually are millionaires and higher. It's kind of outdated a little bit, but it's still relative. But yeah, most of the like I said, wealth in America is pretty much ran by those three groups. Uh and yeah, I mean, how do you compete with all of that? That's the conversation for tonight. How do you compete with that type of reality, where basically you have people. Let me change some stuff here that are very, very much on a high level, right? They're millionaires and above, and you yourself, you barely have, you're check to check. How do you actually compete with that? A lot of people actually are frustrated. That is one of the cores of people's frustrations that they do not want to talk about. They feel as though it is no hope. A lot of people have no. That's why I'm talking about this tonight, because yeah, it's one of the most core problems people actually have. And it's not really talked about because I don't really know why it's not talked about. I mean, I will say I was looking at somebody. I think it was. I don't know. I don't know if it was Professor Black Truth or someone. They were talking about reparations, and I was watching that briefly, and yeah, that is a very, very good topic. Okay, I will say that is it is a very poignant topic. Yet, uh, it's a lot of things with that, as far as if that's going to actually happen, how that's going to happen, and all of that type of stuff. But reality is, it has not happened. Now, because it has not happened, what do you do? Do you wait for that? Obviously not. You have to, compete. Now, in competing, you have to understand who you're competing with. That's how I laid out what the actual demographics, as far as who are the wealthy in this country. Those are the people that you have to compete with. And you have to, I'm not going to say what you have to do, but I'll say that looking at the game of, like, I'll just put the talking about chess, you looking at the pieces on the chessboard, and what your strategy is, and what you need to do. A lot of people do feel automatically defeated. They don't see themselves getting out of the loophole of living check to check, doing barely enough to get by. People are very, very frustrated, to the point where a lot of people are anti-capitalist because they don't feel like they fit into this capitalistic system at all. And I understand those frustrations. I definitely understand those frustrations. I can get where people can feel that they don't really have a chance as far as dealing with this. A lot of people higher up do listen to me. Okay, I am definitely one of those people that probably is secretly, watched, or followed, or whatever. I do understand that, and I'm smart enough to understand that, and YouTube's algorithm is a little bit different. I will probably try some other things, but the thing is that yeah, it is a lot of people that think, you know, they don't have any chance, any hope whatsoever. And you know, I understand those sentiments, but I'm gonna just show you some things on how I was able to kind of get in where I was able to fit in. And it could be used and utilized in different formats. And you know, it's one of the paramounts as far as wealth catalysts in this country. And you know, I'll get right into it. First thing first is, one of the things you got to understand is, with the sentiments of feeling like you're defeated, this conversation, me having this conversation tonight, is not going, it's not going to help you with that sentiment. I'm not going to, my magical words are not going to help you overcome the thought of defeatism, or you know, the thought that you're defeated, because in many regards you are. I am. We a lot of people are, because you got to understand, it's kind of like, it's like people on a, you know, mountain looking down, and you have to climb up this mountain, right? And it's not like they're gonna let you climb the mountain, right? They're gonna throw rocks, they might throw a boulder, you know, because you're trying to climb this mountain. And you know, the rocks and the boulders are red tapes. You know, the you know, basically your application for a job application going into the auto dump folder. You know, your loan application going into, you know, they, you know, you fill out a loan application, you don't even get a call. You know, all of these things that you have to deal with as far as red tape, gatekeeping, these things are very, very difficult. Okay. Like I said, my words are not going to magically overcome all of that. Okay, those things I still deal with till, you know, myself personally. Yet I'll tell you, I mean, definitely my 3M system, mindset, money management, and momentum does help. That does help. Mainly mindset, because that's what I'm talking about as far as feeling defeated and all of that type of stuff. That's a mindset thing. Now, where do you learn your mindset? You learn your mindset from your family. You learn your mindset from your mother and father. If most likely, if you feel defeated, most likely that comes from your parents taught you from some form or fashion, um that defeatism mentality, or some family members, you know, told you or showed you, or you know, it's a lot of stuff that you have to overcome as far as in your mind, because a lot of kind of like friends or so-called friends or so-called family, they give you these mind viruses. You can't do this, or that's going to be hard, and this is, you know, all of this types of stuff, right? And one of the things that, you know, kind of black people that kind of maybe are more higher class, they don't necessarily like uh quote unquote ghetto people that actually do make some money. It might be unconventionally, or it might be the way they made it was really ghetto, like Sexy Red, or you know, insert this person, whatever. And it's like, yeah, they already have, they do have money. A lot of times people kind of wait for them to see if they go broke, and quite a few of them do. Now, the fact that they do already have some riches. A lot of people that are quote unquote in, I'm not gonna say a lot, but it is quite a few outliers in lower socioeconomic levels that do make money in, I'll just say, entertainment. When I say entertainment, that means sports, you know, music, acting. They do kind of find some type of way to you kind of make some money and get some type of deal or whatever, and do get some type of opportunity. It is some people, they even where they are, they started some type of beauty salon, or they started some type of tax business, or uh got into real estate, and they quote unquote, or they have a ghetto look. They kind of, even in their behavior and mannerisms, are ghetto, but their bank account is definitely not ghetto. Their bank account is, if you look at it, as far as the commas that they have in their bank account, is quite impressive. It's more impressive than the average worker in corporate America, because you got people that work in corporate and make $100,000 a year, plus almost 200,000 a year, or even more. They don't really have money like that. I'll say the people that make like between 100 and like 150, 170, close to 200. Some of those individuals are living check to check, especially if they just started working in the last few years. They're barely like trying to break away. Some people, like, you'll be surprised, they make a lot of money, probably like three or four times as you make, but they spend a lot. So it's called lifestyle creep, where if you make 150, people look at that like, okay, well, I'm gonna get a bigger house in a better neighborhood in a nicer car. You know what? Scratch that. I'll get two cars, and then I'm going to buy this nice thing, this thing. And then basically they just max out their expenses with their income. So you got, people that do that, and then you got people that just basically just have common sense, and just basically kind of like just, common sense logic as far as how they deal with their money, and they're in the hood flipping houses and making, they might sell a little weed on the side or something, and they got hundreds of thousands of dollars in their bank account. And basically, people don't really, they don't bother anybody. People don't probably even know, probably they even have that, because the way they look like they probably gonna ask you for some change, maybe, or you don't know if they're gonna ask you for some change, or they gonna rob you, or what they gonna do. They don't have that look. They don't have a clean, polished look. They kind of, let's just say, look ghetto. But you got some people, yeah, they actually do well. They do better than even people that quote unquote are higher class, right? Someone that maybe you would think is part of the black bourgeoisie or whatever. They do better than them, even, as far as actual having cash on hand, as far as liquid assets. They have more liquid assets. I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying there are outliers amongst this group that have more liquid assets than actual people that are quote unquote the black bourgeoisie, that live in, upper class suburbs, or upper middle class suburbs, drive nice cars, have gainful employment, private or public sector. They're, not necessarily living check to check, but you know they don't really have that much liquid cash, because they have a high basically high mortgage, with taxes, obviously, because you live in a very well to do neighborhood. They, have expensive tastes, luxury brands, cars, and they do talk about all of this in the book The Millionaire Next Door. And also they send their kids to private school possibly. They basically spend a lot of money. A lot of money goes out the window um to live in this type of lifestyle where it's kind of like it's almost like they're really kind of almost really pretending to really be rich, and basically they use their salaries to keep that up. Now some people are able to keep that going, right? I mean, I I know some people. I mean, I know people that have able to pull this off for decades. Okay. And you listening probably one of those people, but you're able to keep that up is being employed. Okay, these people are get very nervous when it's tough times, is when there's layoffs and stuff like that. I mean, some people do have some savings. The people that live in this existence, they're the smart ones do save. They do have some type of emergency fund. They have plans and contingencies and stuff like that. But the thing is that my whole point is that a lot of people scoff at people of a lower socioeconomic class, but some of these people have, they have more liquid assets than even hard assets than people that will quote unquote consider black bourgeoisie, or black upper class, or not so much black upper class, but just I'll just say the black middle class and above. You know, and obviously the people that are basically, I'll say, in the entertainment industry, or even just kind of ghetto, I'll just say, and that they're millionaires. Uh, they obviously, it kind of like looks like they're idiots. They might even appear like they're idiots, but they do have a lot of liquid assets. And you can't deny that they have that cash that you want. You want that cash, and they do have it. And it's kind of like, I don't know. It's like, I guess the whole conversation is they should have never gave these, you know, ninjas some money, but they got it, and they got more than you. And I know it kind of stings a little bit, I guess, to some people, but some of these people have some words of wisdom. They just they come off kind of rough, kind of ghetto, but they do have something to offer. There's something to learn from these people, man, that you would be surprised. um that because I used to be like that to a certain extent. I used to be like, oh, this is ghetto. Hey, he's so ghetto. It's just ghetto. And it's like, yeah, you gotta respect someone that earns a living, especially if they did it legally. uh you know Even if they probably did it like, they were kind of doing some dirty stuff, and then they cleaned up their act. I mean, it's kind of hard, man, especially if you're black in America. You already know how hard it is to make a living. You got to respect the fact that, and obviously it is people. I'm not saying all black bourgeoisie don't respect, um you know quote unquote ghetto people. I mean, the smart ones work with these people, man, and um provide some type of bridge, right, to kind of maybe mentor them and stuff like that. But let's see here. Say, who's this? Reaction Reels. Say here. What's going on? Reaction Reels. Uh, what's going on? Yeah, so yeah, you gotta respect people that make a living, man. Even if it's like it's kind of like I got family that like one of my family members they sell weave and they actually are they install it, they install wigs. I mean, to me that's I really don't like women wearing weaves and wigs. I really don't. I mean, I've been very vocal in that. I mean, I'm not the only guy. I'm not the only black man that don't really like the wigs and the weaves. I know the history behind it. I mean, I ain't nothing but a hotep dude. I just don't really talk that much about it. I talk more about it, or I express more about that on my Facebook page. Broke Geniuses, my Facebook page. But yeah, I am a hotep. I am a African antiquity warrior to the heart. I know my history going all the way back, man, thousands and thousands of years. I know about the wigs and the lice and Egypt and all of that type of stuff. But yeah, I don't really like that. I prefer women that have natural. I'm a matter of fact, I like women that have locks like that. That's my like man, like I just I don't know. It's just something about locks is just I just like that. But the thing is I like natural everything. I'm just a naturalist. I like everything. When I was in high school, it started when I was in high school. Actually, no, after high school. Really, no, high school, cause I had older sisters, and one of my sisters was heavy into fashion, and she kind of showed me how to spot fake clothes, fake designer clothes. Or, she kind of showed me like, okay, this is fake. They gonna make fun of you if you wear this, and she kind of put me up on game. And it's like the older I got, the more I was like, I don't want none fake. I don't want no fake diamonds. I don't care if I got to get smart. Like back when, earrings was in and stuff. I wore earrings. People had the big old diamonds and stuff like that. And it was like, nah, I'd rather just have small diamonds and I know they real than the fake ones. Like I just don't really like nothing fake. Okay, that's just me personally. I don't like nothing fake and the wigs and the weaves and stuff. But anyway, my family member, they sell wigs and weaves, and they make a lot of money selling them, and as well as installing them, as well as doing other stuff, hairstyles and stuff like that. And they make more money than I do, okay, doing that stuff, right? So I respect that. I respect that. I applaud that. And it's like, I respect the game, right? And it's like, that's basically what I'm saying. Like a lot of these people, man, are very innovative, and they got to go through stuff too. Like she has to go through the same stuff. She complains about women talking about that she installs their hair. It's mainly black women. They be trying to do stuff, talking about the hairstyle didn't, look a certain way, and they don't want to pay no money, or she goes through that stuff too. I think that's just I don't know. I don't know how common that is in that industry with like the whole nail and beauty salon industry stuff where women just be complaining just to get a refund or to not have to pay or whatever. I'll just say in the service industry, that does happen where people will try you. That does happen. Well, it does happen even like in the construction field, or if you're a handyman or some type of contractor, people will try you. I mean, you see videos of people finishing a project and then the people don't want to pay them. That's just a service thing that happens, like, because with service you're rendering a service and expectations of getting paid for the service rendered. And sometimes people try to, do stuff, man. And you got to understand, if when you first dealing with someone, you don't really know who this person is. You don't have no history behind who they are. They could be a whole scam artist and you have no idea who they are. So, that's just, I was thinking about that earlier today. Like, that's one of the fears that I have, as far as, because I am a contractor. I do know how to do stuff with, houses, as far as, repairs and handyman services. And it's like, what if you installed an entire bathroom for someone, and then they just said, they never said anything, like, day one everything is fine, day two or three, four, it takes you a week to do it, and then on day seven you finish everything, and you know you think it's your best work. Then they come in, what is this? This is horrible. And then you're expecting, you know uh 5 grand or 10 grand, whatever, and then they like, I don't want to pay for this. I mean, that does happen. Even on that's like a higher level. I mean, that's more than just, you know I'm expecting $35 for doing somebody's nails. That's $3,500. Or it could even be more than that, $35,000, and you're expecting that. And it's like, I mean, obviously that gets very, very serious very, very quick. But yeah, it happens. It does happen. And it is a concern of mine. I prefer, to do things with contracts, written signed contracts, and obviously terms of, I will sue the shit out of you if you try to scam me. And basically, with if you're a legal contractor, you can put a lien on someone's house. So if you did some work for somebody, because I mean, a lot of times people want to do things jungle justice, where they just, do something in the streets or whatever. I mean, you don't not want to go to jail because somebody didn't pay you, and you got to go to jail for, whatever, you know, and you could just basically go to court. That's the way to do things. I know it takes a long time. I know you was looking for that money, but you can go to court and you can put a lien on their house. And if they don't pay you, shoot, whenever they try to sell that house, they gon' right in closing, on that closing table, that title company is gonna say, this is the lien amount, and basically they have to pay that to sell that house. And it basically gets transacted from the closing table. And then once that's paid, you get your money. You'll probably get a check from, most likely, the county. And man, I know it might take years. You never know how long that takes, but it's just one of those things in business. You gotta be able to take losses. That's what a lot of the reasons why people don't really like to go into business. Businesses have, losses. You file deductions on those losses every year. Any good tax accountant, they know how to process all of those business losses and deductions every year. I know that's a higher level to get to, because even me personally, I've never had an accountant. I haven't got to that level as far as business. I pretty much was my own accountant. And I did okay. But it's always good to have a lawyer, an accountant, to help for paperwork and legal matters, and process your books and your financial statements and all of that type of stuff. So the thing is that, yeah, some of these people that are appear like they're on a lower socioeconomic end. uh you'll be surprised how well they're actually doing. So nevertheless, I'll just say that the first order of business is, like I said, get your mindset to where you see the big picture. Okay, and the big picture is you can actually compete. Okay, you you can actually compete on a small level. You can actually compete. I mean, you are competing. You know that you going to work, you got a job. That's you competing. Okay, that money that you get from that job basically uh, is a point of how you can compete, because you could take that money. The best way to do it is if you have you have some type of budget. Okay, you have some type of budget where you have some type of way of saving some money after you get paid. Some people might not have their finances in order to do that, to where they, a lot of people might be maxed out on their expenses, and that's where things, it's like this. I can't actually help you. I'll let me put my link out there. For people that, I'll say, they have some type of problem where they have money coming in and working, and their budget is like they're check to check, and they don't really know what to do about it. You can basically consult with me, and I can look at your budget. If you don't have a budget, which I think like about 35% of Americans do not have a budget, which is crazy, because you can just literally take out a piece of paper and then write down everything you spend your money on, and that literally is pretty much like a budget. It's like the cheapest way to make a budget sheet, and a lot of people don't have it. A lot of people are not taught finance. That's first off, and it's purposely the a lot of people were not taught finance purposely, because if you don't know finance, you will be stuck. And a lot of people do want you to be stuck, kind of proverbially on the bottom of the mountain. Okay, not trying to climb up, or not capable of even climbing up. So the thing is that, yeah, if you consult with me, I can look at your budget. I can create a budget for you. I can look and go through your expenses and try to trim some things, give you some ideas on how to trim some things, because a lot of times what it is you might have to do some things like cancel cable, cancel this, cancel that, because it's not really needed. Because the goal is for you to live however you want to live, like whatever that is. eh, that cable bill might, whatever it is, all of these items are taking away from you living the life that you really want to live. That's all it is. I mean, I'm not speaking from nothing that I haven't went through before. These things I've already done decades ago. And I know I've been there. Okay, so one of the things that you first have to do is, if you're on that level where you're check to check, barely getting by, if you need help, you can reach out to me. If you don't need help, fine. That's okay. Okay. Uh, Trim your budget. Create a budget if you don't have one. I have a budget calculator on my website. brokegeniuses.com. It's right on the right. And it gives you an idea of how much money you have after every paycheck, or primarily after every month. And then I also have a budget sheet. I think it's like $2 or $3. So on my website. It's on the link of my description of most of my videos. It's basically it goes down to every paycheck that you actually get, down to the penny, how much you have left over, how much you are in a deficit. It's what I use. And one of the things about not having a budget, what it is if you don't have a budget, it's like literally you're just reacting to everything. You're freestyling and you don't know what's coming your way. You're trying to deal with everything, but you having that budget, you know exactly what your expenses are. You know what the expectations are for your money when you get paid. You know you have to pay this, and this, and it's no surprises. You're not freestyling, and you basically managing your personal finances very similarly to a business. Okay, business is just basically an advanced version of what you're already doing personally with your finances. So it's hard for me to get to talk about business till you get the personal stuff down. You get the personal stuff down solid, you can do the business excellently, because it's just basically advanced. That's all business is. It's an advanced version of what you're doing personally. It's like, that's very generally what it is. It's more to it than that. Once you go to the corporate level, it's really crazy, because now you're talking NBA talk. So the thing is, personally, you need a budget. Once you get that budget, you ideally want to have something to save. That's key. Okay. Once you have something that you can actually save, as far as some money's left over to save, you want to save that money. And then you want to also try to invest it, or learn how to invest. Okay. So basically, learn how to take every dollar and recruit every dollar to bring you back more dollars. Okay. That's investing, as far as describing it like a 5-year old. You want to recruit, you want to use every dollar to recruit more dollars. Okay. However you could do it. Sell pies, cakes, cookies. Okay. Um, Sandwich wraps. you know, like, man, I mean, if you make a mean sandwich wrap, man, and put it on Facebook, man, I'm pretty sure put it on there about 10 o'clock and be like, you know what, I'm making these sandwich wraps for the day, and you steady posting and they looking good. People at work, they like, man, that sandwich wrap don't look too bad, and they know you, they know where you live, and they know you in the neighborhood, and you like, I'm doing deliveries, and as long as you within a radius of 10 miles, the delivery is free. If you outside of that radius, it's like an extra $5 or whatever, you want to charge. There you go. You selling sandwich wraps. You making $100 a day selling sandwich wraps, and people buying them, because your sandwich wraps are like no other. You're the future. I know people. I don't know them, but I know people that actually did stuff like this first, and they actually have two. They have this one lady, one young lady. She basically has two restaurants now. She started off selling plates on Facebook. You probably know somebody wherever you are. They used to sell plates on Facebook and Instagram or whatever. Now they have some type of food truck and or restaurant. This one lady, um, she got two restaurants now. Her first restaurant, it was in such and so much in high demand. She made so much progress with that first restaurant. She just recently opened a second restaurant, and this woman is absolutely ghetto. Okay, from the wild hundreds. If you don't know about, if you know the Chicago area, you already know what I'm talking about. But I mean, and then she gets a lot of people that hate on her too, because people expect, I guess, lowly of you if you do come from a lower socioeconomic environment. Unfortunately, a lot of black people do have some type of lower socioeconomic origin story because honestly, we got to be honest with history. Like we very similarly have a very similar history as far as dealing with all of the things that we had to deal with in America. I'm not trying to go down that road because, as far as mindset, I will say one of my mindsets is I am not trying to talk about slavery and think about slavery and think about all of the other stuff that you know, it still comes to mind, but I'm not focusing on that because I'm trying to compete. Right now is the present, okay? And I'm not gonna, you know, that's why I put the thumbnail of this video with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. I mean, it's like, it's just, what I'm saying? I'm not trying to focus on all of that, I understand and I know exactly. I am a historian as far as my understanding of history, but I'm not trying to focus in on that. But the thing is, we very much have a very similar origin story where we came from basically situations where someone in our family tree had to overcome hard times. Okay, it was the blues was playing. People had a lot of things to deal with, right? So the thing is that yeah, she started off selling plates on Facebook, blew up, then started a restaurant that blew up, then another restaurant. So I mean, in another thing that I do like about people, quote unquote, people that are from the ghetto like that, like really kind of, kind of ghetto or whatever. If they can do it, you can't do it. Like I mean, that's one of the other things I do like. Like they did it, and then here's the thing that probably do stings a lot of people that are quote unquote, kind of black and kind of upper class or elite. The fact that they actually can do it and have done it kind of stings because it's like you yourself are not doing it. They're doing better than you are. And it's like, yeah, that it could be done, but you don't have the drive, the determination, the stick to itiveness to actually get it done or do it. And they do. And you don't necessarily like how they talk or how they carry themselves or, their hairstyle. But they actually are doing a lot of things, well, and it might be, financially more well to do than you. But the thing is that whether that is the case or not, you can like I said, you can compete. All right. Uh, don't let anybody tell you that you can't. I know it could be done. Most of the self-made millionaires in this country basically came from being basically self-made. So that alone is basically what fuels uh um you know people to actually succeed, right? Now, like I said, you have to have some type of budget. That's just a prerequisite. You need a budget. I just, basically use like what I sell pretty much, Excel sheet template. If you got, basically Microsoft Excel, fine. If you don't, you could use free, it's a free version called Microsoft Libra. It's able to open up Excel files, edit Excel files. A lot of people that use Linux, they already know about Office Libre. So it's a free version of like Microsoft Office. So you you could basically keep track of all of your expenses there. Okay. If you get fancy, you could go into QuickBooks. You could go, it got all kinds of software out there for budget tracking and stuff like that. So that's first. Okay. Once you get your budget, you get, some type of idea of what you're going to save. Ideally, you want to put the money into a savings account that you cannot touch. Ideally. Okay, you actually want to have a couple savings accounts. You want to have a savings account that you don't have quick access to the funds, because the reason why you don't want to have quick access, ideally, because you don't want to just be drunk one weekend, take out all your money, in some drunken rage. I mean, you just want to kind of self protect. Got to understand a lot of the habits and the reason why you having the financial problems that you have is because of you, you know. And sometimes you do have to protect yourself from you. And that's why that having a savings account separate in like a bank, like some type of even online bank where you transfer money to that bank, and it doesn't necessarily have a physical location. It's not necessarily bad, because you don't it'll take you a day or two to get the money. Okay, you still have access to the money, but it'll take you a day or two to get it. Okay, so you can sleep off and realize, okay, do I really need this money? Do I really need it right now? Do I need it next day or whatever? Not, no, I don't. Okay, I'll leave it be. And then you have, basically a savings account attached to your regular checking account. And then that's, basically what you use to kind of tie into your regular everyday expenses, monthly expenses, and things of that nature. Okay. So that's first step, right? Then, okay, after you get all of these things, you're gonna eventually start growing your savings. Okay, because it's gonna be automatic. Every month you're gonna put, whatever, 10, 15, 20% of your earnings to your savings account. Okay. Uh you could actually just, if you want to, because one of the keys, also the second key I would say, is investing in real estate. Real estate is really the cornerstone of a lot of the wealth in this country. That's just how it is. It's been that way before I was born. It is one of the cornerstones of wealth in this country. If, let's just say, you're living in an apartment or something like that, you want to try to buy some property somewhere. Even if you live in a state that is not necessarily affordable, America's for sale. You can buy a property in Mississippi and rent it out to someone with a Section 8 voucher, while you live in New Jersey. um, you can rent it out to someone in Mississippi. It's a way to do it. You can actually, there's a few ways you could do it, or you can just, rent out, you know, property for Airbnb. It's a couple things you could do, but you do want to find a way to buy real estate. The reason why is, real estate is, like I say, it's one of the cornerstones, of wealth in this country. If you're not in it, that means you're out of it. And if you're out of it, you're most likely out of the money. That's just how it goes. Now, I recommend, I'm not saying that you got to be a handyman, but if you could teach yourself to be one, you can kind of be unstoppable, because now you can basically general contract your own property. You can, get funding, possibly if your credit is good enough, and you can actually fix and flip properties. Okay. And you could save some money if you got the time and the skill set to do so. It is like, that is one way you can actually invest your money that you make. It's one of the things that I do, and I'm pretty much long on real estate, so it's something that I do primarily. I'm good with stocks, but I prefer I prefer real estate, because real estate is very much, it's more, I'm more passionate about real estate, and I really like it. Um, stocks is good as well, but the thing with stocks is you gotta actually train yourself how to invest in stocks. It takes time. It's not something that's gonna happen overnight. Even real estate, it's gonna take time for you to learn that. But stocks actually, I would say, will probably take you longer than real estate to actually kind of learn, because it's a lot of moving parts with investing in the stock market. It is, you know, that is actually one of the biggest catalysts of wealth in this country, is stocks, bonds, mutual funds, options trading. That is the language of the wealthy and elite. Those things that I just mentioned are the elite's playground. Okay. And it's a lot of math involved. It's a lot of moving parts involved. You can learn these things, it just takes time. Real estate, I would say, takes less time than it does to learn, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, options. It's a lifelong training too, because things move and change and stuff like that. You gotta, you know, it's a lot of stuff, but you can get there. You can do both. I mean, I'm involved in both, but I primarily stick to real estate, because it's a thing where you could actually make your house like a bank, where you could put your money in this house, and then it could be your actual bank, because the more you fix up a house, the more value it actually has over time. And what you're actually doing is you're making your house your bank. So each house, you look at it like a bank that you're putting this money into. You obviously have some type of insurance in case something happens. It's a way that you could kind of force yourself to save if you do have a problem saving. Real estate is one of those things that you can also invest in. You just want to invest in something, because basically what you're doing is you're trying to build up some type of momentum. We never left the fact that our money, our dollar, is trying to go recruit more dollars. Okay. One of those ways you could do that, like I say, is real estate with stocks, with bonds, options, mutual funds, even forex, crypto as well. Crypto, a lot of young people are into crypto. The older people, I don't know, not so much probably. But yeah, crypto is it's pretty volatile. It's a lot of moving parts with that. It's a lot of ways. I mean, they say what? It's a million ways to make $1 million. I mean, it's shit. You could fucking buy a tree farm and grow pine trees, and you'll be a millionaire. I mean, if you saw American Greed, you probably saw the episode where these just very basic white guys had basically a tree farm, and they got taken advantage of by some, people who, so I don't, I remember the episode, but I don't remember the moving parts of it. But basically, they got taken advantage of by some women and some guy. I don't know where they came from, but they basically swindled them out of their money. And I remember the guy said, "Yeah, we lost a lot of money, but about 10 years, them trees gonna start growing right back, and we gonna make some more money." So I mean, like, yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, it's a lot of ways that you could make money. I mean, you could have a small farm. It's a lot of stuff you could do. But yeah, you want to invest in something. That's the key. You want to, like I say, take them dollars and just send them out and give them an assignment to make you bring more dollars back. Okay. However, you sell T-shirts, sell clothes, whatever, to make some money. Okay. And then you just want to rinse and repeat. And that's all of what I'm saying is it's basically building up momentum. Okay, that's the conversation now that I'm talking about is building momentum. Like, these things are building momentum. So if you're buying real estate, whatever you're doing, you're taking that money and you're rinsing and repeating. That is the basically method of momentum. Okay. I went from mindset, I went from money management, which is your budget, managing your budget. Now you're taking the money, investing it, doing some things, even if it's just business. You just, okay, it could be just you go to the flea market, Saturday and Sunday, and you sell some stuff at the flea market. You got a small business at that point, right? That's that's enough. Whatever you make from that weekend, you just keep doing it, right? And you take that money and you do something else with it to make some money. Maybe you have some garage sales, or you sell on eBay during the week, and it's like you're actually in business at that point. You're not necessarily, your business is a combination of investment as well as sales. So you're technically at that point, like I say, going back to selling wraps and pies and cookies. You're actually making money from selling these items, but you gotta, buy different products and or supplies, right? If you're selling cookies, you gotta get flour. And these things basically are things you need to conduct your business. So you can even just have like a little small micro business and then try to scale that up, and that works. But the whole kitten and caboodle is you can compete. You can start off with a small micro business and grow that. Like, Google started off in the garage, Apple started off in the garage. Um, I think Amazon, Jeff Bezos had a little small office. He had an airbrush sign that said Amazon. I mean, a lot of these businesses started off small. I mean, and they grew to the mammoth business that you know of today over the decades, right? Even centuries. And it's possible. Okay, uh, that's all you got to understand is it is possible. Okay. So the thing is from this concept, of mindset, you actually seeing what possibly can be, you coming up with some type of plan, or you already doing what you're doing. You working a job, taking that money from that job, having some type of basically money management, and then trying to build up some momentum. I mean, it could be babysitting some kids on the weekend. It could be babysitting during the week, whatever the case may be. You building up some type of momentum and then rinsing and repeating. There you go. Now you're competing. Okay, eventually the whole process will put you in a situation where eventually over time, and of course you want to, if you haven't already done so, you want to get my book, The Millionaire Savings Plan, on Amazon. Broke, if you buy it on my website, brokegeniuses.com, I'll send you a paperback, autographed copy of the actual book sent to you. And what it'll say is, I'll write your name, future millionaire, on that book. Okay, so that's what you get if you get it from brokegeniuses.com. So either way, get the book. It talks about basically my 11-step system of basically starting off with $1,000, working your way up to $1 million, and you get a reward after each step. It's like a kind of a game. It's kind of like a challenge, but it's serious, and it's also a plan. And it goes into more detail as far as how you can actually boost your momentum. It's I'm not gonna say it's all about momentum, but a lot of it is about momentum. Okay, because it's a life changing book, because you could, even if you don't make it to $1 million, even if you could just get, like, you could save $4 to $8,000. That's a, life changing scenario, because most people, a lot of people live check to check, and a lot of people don't even have $1,000 in emergency fund. So you would have, 4 to 8 times that. Okay, so that will change your life if you don't have that already. If you're living check to check, this book is definitely for you. Okay, that's available again on Amazon.com. The Millionaire Savings Plan. Okay, by Abdul Lawani. It'll probably say A Lawani, but that's my name. Okay, so that's just more into detail as far as the whole momentum thing, because we can do this. We're doing it. We're going to do it. I've already done it, and I'm continuing to do it, competing with this financial system. Not saying I want to give up and be a communist. We're competing. Okay, we're actually being serious. We're going out. We're trying to compete. We're trying to build up some momentum, so we can actually have some money, so we don't have to, dig in dumpsters for food and whine about rich people. We're trying to actually be one. Okay, so those are some concepts of how you can compete. Okay, I'm going to close this out, and I hope you have a wonderful week.